Hi, this is Pastor Bill from Park Place Church in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Happy Friday to all of you. You know, today as I was doing my morning devotional, I read these words from the prophet Jeremiah. I will be their God, and they will be my people. You know, God is speaking to Jeremiah, promising what it will be like when the nation of Israel is restored. And this verse from Jeremiah, this morning it became a doorway for me. It became an entrance into a memory which I've treasured for years. I'd like you to join me. Come with me now. Many years ago, I was on a business trip in Fort Collins, Colorado. And I had been in this store for 2 weeks, working from open to close each day. I was tired, I was frustrated over how simple problems, when ignored, could cause such major issues. I'd had it. I needed a break, I needed time to be alone and not think about all the issues that I had been dealing with. But while I was there, each day that I was in the store, every afternoon I'd take a quick break and I would stand out in front of the building and I'd look off at the mountains in the distance. And there was one section of mountain that looked like jagged teeth sticking up from the earth. And when I asked someone what I was looking at, they told me, well, that rocky outcropping was in the Rocky Mountain National Forest. They said it was about 70 to 80 miles away. So I was determined that the first free day I had, I was going to visit the National Forest. I remember it was a beautiful Sunday morning. I didn't need to visit the store that day. It was mid-April. The temperature was already in the 70s, promising to climb into the 80s. So I hopped into my rental car and I headed for Estes Park, which was where the entrance to the National Forest was. I stopped at the ranger station to get a map of the park, and I was shown by the ranger which roads were still closed because of snow. Now, let me make it very clear at this point that I do not like heights. Driving on a mountain road which winds around sharp turns with rocky cliffs climbing up one side and steep hillsides on the other with just a small guardrail to keep the car from plummeting down more than 200 feet to the valley below, that did not fill me with a sense of caution. I repeatedly asked myself, why was I doing this? With my fear of heights and my death grip on the wheel, why not just turn around? But I was determined, and I kept on going. I came to a small turnoff where I could park the car on the side of the road without blocking traffic. So I parked the car, I got out, I began to walk up this very small, windy, narrow path that led through some tall pine trees. And the path was covered with leaves and pine needles, with an occasional snow puddle by the side, which had not yet melted. The day was sunny and warm. The air was beautiful, clean and clear, but I must admit it was a little thin, which gave a challenge to my breathing. It was the kind of experience, a kind of day that made me think of the song Morning Has Broken. And the winding path led to the top of the hill. When I finally stood at the crest, the view I saw was amazing. There was all of God's creation laid out before me. And I sat down on a large rock, gazing out across a canyon that was completely covered with trees on both sides. But on the far side of the canyon, I saw elk moving up and down the side of the steep cliffs. And soaring above my head was a large bird. I don't know if it was an eagle or it was a hawk. But as I watched, just a single movement of its wings sent it soaring over the canyon. And then just as it was gliding down, it seemed to catch a thermal, a gust of wind that carried it high into the air. The only sounds were the natural offerings of nature, the chirping of birds, or the sound of leaves moving as a small animal scurried through the underbrush. My eyes and my thoughts were filled with the wonder of creation, and I thought how our God truly is an awesome God. To think that none of this existed until God spoke it into being. And I thought how amazing that this awesome God, this creator of such beauty, would even take notice of me. I felt very small, very insignificant in comparison to everything around me. And yet I knew that God loved me. I knew that the Spirit lived in me. And I knew that with God all things were possible. Time seemed to stand still for me that day. I don't remember how long I sat there, but I do know I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay there on that mountain. Just God and me in the beauty and perfection of His creation. I didn't have a camera with me, so I took no pictures, at least none that I could show you. But the pictures from that day are forever emblazoned in my memory. And I can go back and I can visit that spot any time that I need to shut everything out of my thoughts except my God. For you see, just as Jeremiah wrote, God's promise has come true. God is our God, and we are His people. Pray with me. God of creation, Lord of salvation, you have blessed us beyond measure. The beauty of creation is all around us, yet so often our eyes are closed to it. Your love and your forgiveness covers us like a warm, fluffy blanket, yet we tend to sometimes kick it off, not knowing what we're doing. Slow us down, Lord. Let us know it's okay to stop, to take vacations throughout the day, to let go of the burdens that we allow to weigh us down, to leave them with you, and sit on the side of a mountain, taking in the beauty of your creation and receiving your love, your forgiveness, and the power of your Spirit to move on. Amen. Thanks for joining me today. Pastor Wayne and I will be with you Sunday morning as we celebrate the day of Pentecost. The Park Place service will be posted on Facebook by 10 a.m. Sunday morning. Have a wonderful day today and tomorrow, and I'll see you in church on Sunday. And until then, God bless you.